Why, hello there. It's bright and early. The sun isn't out yet, but it will be in a few hours. It's March 1st. Welcome to March, everybody. Who thought we were going to make it here? We're here, and we're going to talk about college basketball, and we're going to have a discussion with our cutout people, Tanya. She does some creative things when it comes to college basketball, and of course, Elena, because Elena does nothing but pick winners. She's literally 5-0. She will be getting up out of that wheelchair and making it rain because that's what she does. All right, we'll talk to her later. But first, let's talk about the schedule for March 1st here. It's a Monday. We've got 18 games in the algorithm so far. I don't know, there might be more, but this is what we've got so far. So this is what we're going with. And we have these things in order. If you're new to this, we have these things in order where we have this thing called margin, which is how much better is this team than this team. That's basically what this is supposed to be. Descending, so that, all right, we believe that if Colorado loses to Air Force, then by gosh, by golly, that is the most ridiculous thing that could have happened today. That's the way we think of things. And down here, either one of these teams could win because it's a very close game. All right, now, that being said, first I'm going to, before we talk to Tanya, who I love to have discussions with her, we're going to bring in Elena. Elena, don't let that wheelchair fool you. She is able, and she knows how to pick. And this is how she picks, though. Everybody has a personality. These cutout people have personalities. Cutout people are up here, illustrations, icons. There's a whole host of people, and they're really fun to play with. And I give them all personalities because there are many different ways to bet, and it's what better way than to express them through actual physical pictures of people, right? So Elena likes to pick favorites that have reasonable lines that are just overpowering other teams. And she's been winning all the time. She's winning all over the place. So what is she going to do on a board like this today? Because if you have one pick, I always get asked that, what's your one pick, Ken? What's your one pick of the day? If you had to put the lives of your family on it, what would it be? Oh, well, all right. Well, Elena's the one who gives you that. Well, not Tanya. Elena gives... Get back here, Elena. All right. Elena's the one that gives you that answer. So what does she see in this board? Well, she's going to have to see something with a pretty high margin. So anything in this red area is not going to be Elena's area. She's going to be looking up here. And she's also going to want a reasonable line of which there are none. Okay, so now she's forced to take a spread. So she wants a reasonable spread, which there are none. And I did this once before with Elena, and I might do it again today, but this might not be an Elena day. Elena might just be betting on hockey because there were 3 good hockey games. She gave you a 3-game parlay if you watched the hockey video. She's not very interested in this list just based on color. How does Elena feel about today? I'll tell you how she feels about it. Elena's like... Yeah, exactly. It's more this. I was going to do this. Which one? The one where she's angry. There's a funny one. Now, maybe it is that one. This one where she looks kind of angry. She's not angry, but she's like, what? Like, really? Am I supposed to bet on this crap? Exactly. And I agree. Unless we find something that changes our minds, let's look through the games. So this might be a Tanya day. What does that mean? Here's what it means. Okay? Tanya's been thinking. Now, Tanya doesn't always win, right? No, she doesn't always win. I mean, sometimes she loses. But when she wins, what happens when she wins? Yeah, she wins big. That's right. She hits massive underdogs when she wins, and she parties, right? Yeah? She looks like she has... She's like, oh my God, was that me? Was that me just cashing in 8 winners? Well, so maybe it's a Tanya day. I don't know. Let's look. So, we just discussed that there are terrible lines all the way down here. As I've mentioned previously, Vegas uses my algorithm to predict odds. How do I know this? Because Vegas lines start looking like the algorithm as the year gets longer. That's how I know, because of how many people I email this thing to. So I can tell you that this sucks. Now, is there anything that's reasonable here? I mean, I see some green lines down here. Are there any home teams down there? Well, I mean, first of all, are there any underdogs? The first thing we're supposed to look for. Incarnate Word is at home. And Washington State's on the road, but Arizona State's hurting, but so is Washington State. But they're at plus 180. This one's just plus 110, and Incarnate Word has a 4% margin, and they're at home. Problem, they're a bad team. They're a negative 5% power team. So they suck in general. So that's why you can see that it is not a good day. However, if you Elena's staying away. Elena's just decided she's just betting on hockey. She's had enough of this. Tanya wants to have a good time. She wants to show you good. She wants to please you. So she's going to look and she's going to be like, well, I would take Incarnate Word. She's like, I would think about, doing one of those 4-team round robins here with Incarnate Word. Maybe Washington State +5 because Arizona State is hurting. But their bench is strong. I actually don't like this at all. I think that Arizona State is probably fine, especially at home. I don't like this. If you put a 1% home bump on this, it flips around. So and our home bump, bumps the home team by whatever number we put there, and then you right-click and refresh inside the file, and you can see that all of a sudden now it's favoring Arizona State, right? And it's favoring Lamar at -278 here against Texas A&M Corpus Christi, which I guess was, what's my line normally? No, it was always favoring Lamar. Anyway, so this is a pretty junky day. Is there anything that we can cover with the spread? So another thing Tanya likes to do is she likes to say, well, hey, if I'm going to get funky with you, at least I'm going to pick good teams. She's like, I won't touch a team that isn't at least over, on a day like this, over, let's call it 40%. So the power of the team has to be reasonable for her today. So that restricts it to these games. And we also have something called the spread cover number. And the spread cover number is starting to do better things. Our point projections have gotten better, especially since I adjusted them last week. And so, well, it does say that Colorado State at home should destroy Air Force. They have a 44% margin. Air Force is supposed to be flying. They are not supposed to be sinking threes. So even though this is a ridiculous spread, Tanya doesn't mind messing around with ridiculous spreads because she wants to get funky. Okay, she's not Elena. She's not Elena. Elena is gambling with Elena is gambling with her disability that she gets from the state. She has to win. Elena just wants one pick, right? Tanya's like, I got a job. I don't need this money. I want to mess around. I want to go do some blow after the games. I'm crazy. She's nuts, right? So she's willing to mess with Colorado State, and she's willing to take, who else was in there? There was Incarnate Word. No, she's not willing to take Incarnate Word because they're not at least a 40% team. But she's willing to take Oklahoma away at Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State is apparently hurting, even though this margin's really low. But she's okay because she's like, you know what, the line's good, and it's all Oklahoma. I'm down. I don't mind. It's all Oklahoma. She's saying Oklahoma. It's coming out of her mouth. So she could be saying Oklahoma State, though, right? I guess we don't really know. St. Bonaventure at home against Dayton because they are hurting. By the way, Dayton has not been playing well. That's enough, but they're minus. So it says St. Bonaventure again covers the 7.5. Does it say that? It does. It says by 3 points, by 10.5 they win. So yes, that's another one that Tanya will throw on her round robin. But keep in mind, this is not an Elena day. So if you are Elena, you don't want any of this. So I'm talking about it like it's good, but it's not good. It's good for Tanya. It's not good for Elena. Elena is betting on hockey, as I said. So anyway, this is what it looks like by spread cover. This is some messing around in the file and things that you can do with it. I mean, Tanya's going to give us a good ride one of these days. So what is she down for? Let's show what Tanya's down for, and then we'll put a picture on here. So we're going to create a slicer if I don't already have one. I don't, for team of reference, and show you exactly how this works. So if you open up in pivot table options and go to insert slicer, you want to get the team of reference here, and a bunch of bubble filters going to pop up with all the teams, and then you can expand them or change the way that you look at this so you see more of them at once. You can change the colors on these things. You can really do some pretty awesome stuff and customize them to make them almost look like an animated assistant to your table. You can do all these custom things and really change all the styles and do stuff with borders. There's really amazing stuff you can do with this. Now, she said that she was down with what? She said Colorado State, right? She said Incarnate Word. She said St. Bonaventure. And I think that was about it, right? Is there anything else on here that's interesting for her? I'm sorting this by spread cover. It actually has Prairie View winning this game and covering this massively, but they're not a very strong team. So I think it was just those three. I mean, you really shouldn't get too crazy here. So it was Colorado State, Incarnate Word. Oh, no, she also said Oklahoma, remember? Because she couldn't shut her mouth up. And St. Bonaventure. So she came out with these four, which spread. You don't need to take the spread, but you could get 1.5 with Oklahoma on the road. And Incarnate Word you could get 2 with. I mean, to help yourself out there, actually. But they're at home. This Oklahoma one on the road is sketchy, but we should see what Oklahoma State... And Tanya will do research. What are Oklahoma State's injuries? Well, let's look. Oklahoma State. There's a way I could try to weave this. Knees are not good. Out for the season. And a hand. So this guy's probably all right, and he's a decent player. But these two guys are out for the season. So that is a pretty hard blow to that team. And that does put things on the... And plus, if Oklahoma really needs to win this game for seeding, for the tournament and stuff like that, if that's what's going on, I would expect them to fight hard. I've been to Oklahoma, and last month I was there. Drove the whole, gun barrel of Oklahoma. And interesting place. Nice, easygoing people. So it'll probably be a good game. All right, Tanya, is there anything else you'd like to say? Nope. Shut your mouth. All right, let's go, guys. Everybody, good luck. May your picks be winning.